Mike, you know New Jersey, right?
Never heard of it.
Okay, well, New Jersey's like a worse New York. And the governor, Phil Murphy.
Phil Murphy?
Nito knows Phil? Phil the pill? Bing! So Phil Murphy recently arrested 15 people at a religious gathering. Just arrested them. He has shut down the state, and he is not allowing any religious services at all. People aren't allowed to go outside. Liquor stores are open. So Tucker interviewed him, and we're going to skip around. The end of the interview is the best part, but let's see what's going on in the state.
To deal with. And I want to say at the outset that I mean this sincerely, I always presume good faith in the decisions that our leaders are making right now, because I know it's complex, especially for you, the most dense state in the country, second highest death toll. But there's a couple things that I find confusing, and I'd love to hear them explained. The first is the rationale for the lockdown. Now, you said early on the point was, and most governors said this, was to flatten the curve, to spread out the infection so our healthcare system didn't collapse. It didn't collapse. It came close, but it didn't. Now, today in your press conference, you gave a different rationale for the lockdown, and you said that you can't foresee normal gatherings continuing, I think it's a quote, until essentially there are no more cases.
Why? At all.
Ever.
Zero
Ever
cases.
again.
Zero cases.
Not only corona, any disease.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, what is the difference? There's a lot of things.
No, of course.
There's a number of things out there that will kill you.
Change.
Again, it's good to be on with you.
Remember, like, up till, sorry, not to cut this off. Remember up till, like, a couple months ago, we were the kind of people that would go to a state fair and eat shady sausage meats sold off a truck by a carny. I'm not kidding.
He's making the elephant ear while smoking a cigarette. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you get my point?
I went to Santa's Enchanted Forest in South Florida, or the Dade County Youth Fair. I am very aware of what you're talking about.
Do you know how many times I've met people in a bathroom at a club and been like, are you sure this is Coke? It looks very crystalline. It looks like this. Are you sure? Okay.
But you do it anyway.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. A lot of people in this country put a lot of things into their body they probably shouldn't have. How many times in your lifetime have you been like, fuck, I don't have a condom. God damn it. Hell, I'm still doing it. Like, look, there's a lot of things we do that may result in any number of adverse reactions. Why is this special, right? Am I wrong here? Why is this special?
Because with those other things that you pointed out, you can't score political points. And right now, unlike any other, it's never happened where governors have had this much attention on them.
They love it.
That's what it is. Honestly, that is exactly what it is.
Not since the Continental Congress have they fucking had any sort of importance.
Yeah.
We don't get a economic recovery unless we've got a complete or near complete healthcare recovery. So flattening that curve reduces the amount of hospitalizations, reduces the amount of intensive care beds, ventilators, healthcare workers needed, et cetera. And so you want to get the line to cross between that and your capacity. If we had let this go, we think 3+ million New Jerseyans would have been infected.
You think?
Again,
you think?
You don't know.
You think, though.
And also, I'm still not seeing any downsides here.
The number, thank God, is going to be a lot less than that, Tucker. But we're still not out of the woods yet. My comments today.
This is like tricking a girl into sucking your dick by telling her, like, I'm gonna die if you don't suck my dick. And then she sucks your dick, and then they're like, all right, so you're good now, right? You're saved. And then the girl starts realizing, wait a minute, I think you might have tricked me into sucking your dick. I don't think having to suck your dick saved your life. Then you go, hey, we don't have any evidence to suggest that you didn't save my life, all right? And we don't know if you didn't suck my dick, how quickly I would have died. Like, there's just these woulda, couldas. We think this was a big success. Like, you could just go, yeah, we think this was really successful. And you go, based on what? Yep. Well, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, clearly. Anything could have been. 9/11 could have been a lot worse. They could have gotten that third plane into the city, and it would have been fucking ugly town. Anything could have been better or worse. It is what it is, right? Like, not to use a fucking phrase that a guy that works at a gas station that you went to high school with probably still says on Facebook, but it is what it is. It is how it played out. It's done now. We can't just go, look, I know everybody's healthy now, but we still, look, we got to flatten this curve. We've just become like curve flattening psychos. It's what we're obsessed with. We got to flatten the curve. You're like, the curve of what?
And that guy that I went to high school with, at least he sells 15-year-old cigarettes still. So that's pretty cool of him.
Does he sell Lucy's?
Yeah, well, out back. You have to wait till he closes, though.
But they smell like gas.
Yes, they're all gasoline.
Because they pull it out of the pack.
Andy Grundy, good point. 3 million? There's not even that many cases globally. So New Jersey was going to have more cases than the planet.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, they deserve it.
You're right.
But can we stop pretending like there's 3 million New Jerseyans worth saving?
I know maybe 4 personally.
I know a couple of you guys that are absolutely worth saving. But let's stop pretending like there's 3 million of you rolling around that state.
Carl from Aquatine.
He's good.
And that's about it.
Master Poe.
Maybe Hammy. Maybe Hammy.
Go find Master Poe.
Maybe
Hammy's New York now. He's fine.
Yeah, he still lives in Jersey.
Oh,
he works in New York.
Were directed at things like high school graduations, religious gatherings that folks had asked me about for June. And I can't say with confidence. I think April, the next couple of weeks, is going to be our toughest period. I hope, please God, assuming
how
folks...
How about this? How about you've already made religious gatherings illegal for Easter. I love this, maybe we'll be back to normal in a month. We've already crossed a line that if we don't rectify, if you don't vote these governors out, every single one of them in the next election, you suck as a human being. And if it's a matter to you of going, well, I got to stay voting Republican or I got to stay voting Democrat, if you don't vote out whoever the fuck your governor is for this next election, then you deserve whatever you get from now on. You need to write every one of you needs to write your governor a letter and say, I have every intention of voting against you, even if it's voting against my party. You overstepped your boundaries. You've made religion illegal. I can't in good conscience vote for you. And then actually go and follow that up, get up on election day, go and vote against that person. That's the only way. These people need to lose their jobs for this because there's no way. I haven't seen a single governor come out and go, no, we can't do that. I just can't. I read my job description this morning and I realized I can't do this.
Texas is actually the only one that's come close, honestly. And I mean that seriously.
They already just act like a country.
You're right.
They don't really.
What are you going to do? Our National Guard is bigger than your military. Leave us alone.
Stay home will be a little bit better. I can't predict with certainty into the summer. So my rationale's the same. I just got to make sure that I'm being straight with people about the timing and, frankly, what we don't know yet.
That's just what the mall looks like anyway.
Yeah.
But the standard...
Yeah, that picture was from last Black Friday.
It was from Christmas this year.
Yeah. That we're not going to have these large gatherings, including, as you said, religious services or NFL games, which you have in your state, until we're basically at zero new infections. That's not a standard that we apply to any other infectious diseases, including diseases that kill, as many people as this is projected to kill. So why the different standard in this case?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a different standard, and maybe it's the way I...
It literally is a different standard.
I wouldn't say that, though.
No, I don't care what you would say, bro. It is a different standard.
Said it today, but here is the reality. You get that economic recovery, that responsible reopening after you've cracked the back of this. I don't think any of us can expect that we can get this to zero, particularly in the absence of a vaccine, and it sounds like that's a year.
But you're the one that said that. He's quoting you back to you.
Year and a half away. But I do think, and I did say this today, and we believe this strongly, that we need a much broader testing regime. And that will give us confidence if we can quickly test.
I'm going to skip it just a little bit ahead here because I want to get this
meaningfully higher than the year in and year.
The new IHME numbers, University of Washington model that I think most of our leaders have been referring to, suggests about 60,000 deaths nationwide by August 4th. That would be fewer than what the annual influenza caused a couple of years ago with a vaccine. So does that shake your faith at all in the utility of a vaccine for this disease? Maybe it's not the final answer.
Yeah, it doesn't shake my faith in either the vaccine, which all experts think is at least a year and a half away. It does tell me that if the death tolls are around the numbers that you've just referred to, Tucker, that all of the actions we're taking are making a difference.
There's no proof.
This is literally rainmaking. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
You're exactly
they're
right.
Rainmaking us.
Yes, exactly.
It is the classic. If you give me money, I promise you I will make it rain. And if it doesn't rain, we have to give them more money because we fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But if it does rain, they take credit for it. There's no proof that what they're doing has had any effect. But they just have to take this. Well, there's no proof. There's no proof that what we did didn't work. So next time we're going to shut down the economy again. It's no. If you're going to destroy this country a second time when this breaks out again, I want solid, concrete proof that your bullshit is why this virus didn't go around. And honestly, even if it is the reason, I'm not so sure this virus is as bad as you've made it out to be. Yeah, we've heard a lot of everybody I've heard that is worried really badly about this virus has given me some kind of horror story, right?
Of course.
And there's plenty of those. Of course, there's horror stories. There are worst case scenarios. Some people are dying. It's tragic. Some people get really, really sick and they go, oh my God, it was the worst thing I ever. The people I've heard say, this is the worst thing I've ever gone through in my lifetime. It's the most painful, agonizing thing I've ever gone. Every person I've heard say that is a white, middle class American, and most of them female. Anybody who's caught coronavirus on my timeline that's like, oh God, people are dying. It's like my insides are burning. They're literally all people that have never had. The people that go, this is the worst pain I've ever had in my life, have never experienced any pain. So I don't really care. It's a bunch of white millennial women panicking and going, no, we need to flatten the curve so nobody dies. And it's like, guess what? You might die anyway. You might slip in your bathtub tonight, you dumb bitch. There's no guarantees, but you're ruining everyone else's lives. People can't go to church. People can't go to work. People are starting to think about potentially losing their homes, and you're like, no, curve flattening. There's no proof it may or may not work.
Caution does. If we were to shutter those stores down, we'd have unintended mental health and addiction.
Okay, sorry.
Had a little bit of a challenge. Expected means that it's working.
Okay, check this out.
Let me ask you about the specific measures you just referred to. Now, large gatherings are banned, but liquor stores are deemed an essential service. Why? On the basis of what scientific evidence did you decide that?
Couple of things. One is there are liquor stores in our state that actually have a little bit too many backroom gatherings. So we had a little bit of a challenge. We had to remind folks that liquor stores may be open.
You're not answering the question. He asked you under what scientific data you're talking about backroom gatherings.
But may be open. But to your point,
He
gatherings
reminds me
are
of
not.
Rumsfeld when Louis C.K. kept asking
He
him if
wouldn't
he was a
answer the
lizard,
question,
and he's
yeah.
like, I was out to dinner with my wife the other night. Some people came up, lovely couple in D.C. Like, can you just answer the question, please?
And by the way, I think liquor stores should be open and churches and everything. So just so you're clear.
Yeah,
I have
gun
nothing
stores,
against gun stores.
whorehouses.
I got nothing
fucking-
against liquor
yeah.
stores being open.
Dog fight rings.
We relied on a whole lot of input, reasonable input from recovery coaches, addiction coaches, and they cautioned us if we were to shutter those stores down, we'd have unintended mental health and addiction prices to pay.
So people are addicted to fucking booze, but if you shut the liquor store down, you're going to take away their I'm sorry. What?
Intended consequences. And so far, that's the route we've taken. And my guess is we'll continue to take that route.
So, but you have closed church services and synagogue services and arrested people for attempting to attend them. Did anyone say that maybe practicing your faith might be important to someone's mental health?
Listen, I think we've had a very good good common ground with faith leaders of literally every faith who understand.
Oh no, that's
towards
a bad,
the end of it.
oh boy.
Tucker breaks him towards the end.
Understand this. And by the way, whether it's a liquor store, a pharmacy, a supermarket, we expect folks to distance themselves from each other.
But you can't. But you okay, fine. But then you can't expect people to distance themselves at a church. They arrested 15 people for this.
Wear face coverings, etc. There's an enormous amount of faith going on virtually right now, a lot of practicing going on, and we care deeply about both physical health and mental health.
Of course, but I just, and I don't want to be too persistent on this, but I think it's important. On what scientific basis did you decide that sitting in a church was much more dangerous than buying liquor in a liquor store? And why is buying liquor more important for the social fabric? I'm just trying to think. You're not the only governor who's done this, and I don't mean to pick on you, but I don't understand the reasoning. I don't want to think it had anything to do with tax revenues.
No, it does not have anything to do with tax revenues. Our revenues are so blown up, that would be a rounding error, trust me. This is not either or. It can be and both. I've spoken to Carlson.
No, it's not. Liquor stores are open.
And the churches are not.
Closed. That's it. There's no and or.
It can be, at times, both are open at times.
Tobin, to the leaders of the Jewish community, of the Muslim.
Liquor stores are open 7 days a week. A church is 1 day a week.
Community. People.
And by the way, the Jews that you're beholden to aren't exactly big churchgoers, so they're not going to temple regularly. So let's stop. It's like, oh, we've spoken to some Jewish leaders. Yeah, which ones?
Where we have come out there. No one's happy. Everyone wants to get back to what they think of as the norm, and who could blame them? I want to do that as well. But I don't think these are one versus the other. I think you can have both of these realities at the same time, and that's what we have in New Jersey right now.
If you're going to be a politician, Phil Murphy, try to be a good one.
He's not,
because you're not good at this. You're not even good at spinning it. You're not answering the question, but you're not even doing it in a smart way where dumb people go, "Oh, I get it."
You know what? I hate to admit this because he's a goddamn buffoon, and I hate him to his core.
Somebody says,
"You know who wouldn't have closed the churches?" I hate to admit this. Chris Christie. Chris Christie wouldn't have closed her. He would have been like, "Hey, you can't close church. Pizza pie. Bada bing." I swear to God, he would have. I hate him, and he's a fat, pandering idiot. But I guarantee you, if they said, "Oh, Governor Christie, we have to close the churches," he would have been like, "Close the what? Close the what now? Oh, no. You close the churches. You go out there and tell them you're closing the churches. I'm not closing the churches."
Jane Quinn says, "Do you want people withdrawing from booze as well, Royce?" No, what I said was...
he was consistent. See, he was the consistent one.
I want everything to be open.
He was consistent.
But what I'm saying is that, sure, I'm sure there's consequences. If you fucking close liquor stores down, people will withdraw from booze. But if you close businesses down, poverty kills more people than all of these things. Like all of these things. Poverty kills more people than withdrawing from booze, than anything. You take away people's religious services, which, you know what? A lot of people use religious services so they don't become chemically dependent. So they have, this is, by the way, if you're going to be an atheist, I'm not in any way trying to sell you on religion. That's not my point. But my point is everybody has something that they need. People need booze to survive. People need drugs to survive. Some people need religion to survive. So why are we picking and choosing what things people are allowed to have in their lives and what things are not? Why does Governor Phil Murphy get to decide? Now, he gets to a real good question here. I want to make sure we skip ahead to it here.
That step, but it's one that we felt we had to take. And as I mentioned to a bunch of legislators today, it's not a life sentence.
Okay, but on what basis? What scientific? Because I'm just trying to get to the science here, because I assume all of us are following the lead of epidemiologists. Arresting someone for sitting alone on the beach, tell me how that arrests the spread of the coronavirus from an epidemiological point of view.
Yeah, I wasn't referring to that. I actually don't have.
But he is. But see, the question, no, it doesn't matter what you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm not answering your question.
But
though.
He's asking you a direct question.
Yeah, but that's not the question I felt like answering, so I'm going to go ahead and answer my own question that I made up. Thank you for the question, Phil.
The specifics as to why that happened. I meant congregation at state and county parks, of which there was an enormous amount when the weather got warm. And the fact that folks weren't, it's not that they couldn't be in the park and jogging by themselves or walking on their own and keeping distance. They weren't. And there were a lot of
how nice of you. You can go to the park, but you better not talk to people or go near them.
License plates in the parking lots, and we've got some of the nicest parks in the Northeast, if not the country. Again, it brings me no joy, but we felt that was the right decision to make.
So
I love his like snarky.
made that decision, and as I noted before, 15
That's
congregants
the
at a
noise a
synagogue
cop
in New
makes,
Jersey.
by the way, when he takes your ID and he goes, "All right, man, have a seat. I'll be right back." They go, "Oh," you go, "Ah, Christ, I'm going to jail."
So you made that
Right back.
decision, and as I noted before, 15 congregants at a synagogue in New Jersey were arrested and charged for being in a synagogue
They charged them?
together. Now,
Oh no! How much are you charging us?
the Bill of Rights, as you well know,
Here it is.
protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't.
Above my pay grade. Look, man, I just look. The people in charge, they just tell me what to do, and I just do it, man.
No, it's not above your pay grade. You are the guy.
Hey, what do I know? I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just a
You're
guy.
hey,
Hey, brother,
no,
I'm just a cog in a machine.
You are the dude. Like, you're the dude here. There's no one above. There's no above pay grade in the situation. You shut it down. It wasn't fucking Susan in accounting that shut it down. It was you, Phil.
Look, it's a little above my pay grade. I just come in and I do what the boss tells me.
How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
Okay, but okay. Here's the problem. If you're not thinking of the Bill of Rights when you're doing your job, then you shouldn't be a fucking governor of anything. That right? I mean,
course.
basic thing.
Yeah, of course.
All right, look, you're a governor, right? So I don't care if you follow, let's say, OSHA regulations, right? It's probably not a lot of forklifts, not a lot of falling debris in your office. I think we can let you slide on that. But if you're going to be the governor, maybe the Bill of Rights should be a thing you consider, at least when you're making basic day-to-day decisions.
We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science, and it says people have to stay away from each other. That's the best thing we could do to break the back of the curve of this virus that leads to lower hospitalizations and ultimately fatalities.
And I'm not contesting that, though. I think I do think there's a debate. This is a rolling conversation because we're learning new things every day, and nothing is settled at this point.
Understood.
But I do want, since you are an elected official, a leader in the government, an executive, how do you have the authority to order something that so clearly contravenes the Bill of Rights of the United States, the U.S. Constitution? Where do you get the authority to do that?
Well, here's the thing. We know we need to stay away from each other.
Oh, my God, with this guy. I'm telling you, man, governors and mayors and all these, they can all be replaced with information kiosks at this point. They do what they're told anyway. All you need is their friendly face that comes up on an LED screen and goes, "Howdy, partner. Welcome to Sioux Falls. Press this speech bubble for answers to your questions." It doesn't matter. You talk about like automation replacing workers. They could replace these fuckers easily. Pre-program them with 5 phrases and stick them on TV. There's no difference.
We did it to McDonald's workers. We'll fucking do it to you.
Number 2, we do have broad authority within the state. And number 3, we would never do that without coordinating, discussing, and hashing it out with the leaders, the variety of the leaders of the faith in New Jersey.
The leaders of the faith don't decide the Bill of Rights either. I'm sorry, Phil. You think that people give a fuck? Do you think the Bill of Rights matters what a fucking rabbi says or what a priest says? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're inalienable rights. Unless I read it wrong. Did I read it wrong?
I think you read it wrong.
Did I read it wrong? I must have read it wrong. Sorry, Phil.
We have We are among, if not the most
no,
diverse state in
I'm sure
America,
that's.
so we're used
I'm
to
sure
that.
that you talk to every rabbi and priest, but there's a deeper question here, and I'm just going to ask you one last time because I think it's important. I'm sure you've thought about this. You can't just, as the governor of a state, tell people who they can talk to when and where, because the Constitution of the United States, upon which all of this is based, prohibits you from doing that. So you clearly decided that you could do it. Did you consult an attorney about this? Did you? I mean, because this is a legal question as well as a medical one, isn't it?
I don't go to the men's room without consulting an attorney, so I guarantee you.
What? See, I've had a long history of just sucking cocks in bathrooms across America, and my advisors have told me that that's probably bad if I want to seek campaign contributions from the finer folks of Southern Jersey. So I've been trying not to suck as many dicks. I bring my attorney and I suck his dick instead.
New Jersey's a weird state.
We have attorney-client confidentiality, so nobody will find out about these dick sucks.
About this, did you?
Is that why he meets his attorney at bus stops? Okay, well that makes sense.
I mean, because there's
the only way I could get caught now is if somebody identifies my name tag on my fleece.
Ah, you shouldn't have worn that
under the stall door.
He shouldn't have worn that.
It's my this is my dick sucking fleece.
Question as well as a medical one, isn't it?
I don't go to the men's room without consulting an attorney, so I guarantee you we did that. But I'll give you an example that was not related to the synagogue.
You're not answering the question, Phil.
I called up Cardinal Tobin, Cardinal Joe Tobin.
I don't know who Cardinal Tobin is.
You don't know the Joe Tobin?
No, I
Cardinal
don't.
Tobin?
I don't know Cardinal Tobin.
Cardinal Tobin, Toby Meister?
No. Is he a bird?
He's a cardinal from New Jersey.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Tobin in Newark. There are 5 or 6 archdioceses in New Jersey. It was coming up to Easter and Holy Week in particular. And I said, listen, I'm really concerned about drive-through Holy Communion because we had heard some stories about priests who unwittingly had the virus and unwittingly passed it on to parishioners. And he said, we're not doing that, I promise you.
How does this answer the question?
Oh, my God.
This is like when you ask a girl if they cheated.
Look, you're not, but see, you weren't. Just answer the question.
And I'll confirm that with my fellow bishops. That's not denying someone their right to worship in any way, that we have to find a different way to worship. And I think that's the point. God bless America.
Yeah, we're not, government's not allowed to tell people how to worship just as a sort of factual matter. Last question, sincere question. So these orders, which, again, I'm presuming and I believe were taken in good faith under trying circumstances, have nevertheless, and you just said it, have resulted in an awful lot of suffering. 577,000 New Jerseyans on unemployment. Doubtless the suicide rate will increase. The addiction rate will increase. Liquor stores are open, as we noted. How much does that weigh on you? That the suffering that this lockdown has caused might equal or perhaps outweigh what the virus does. Do you think about that?
It weighs heavily, and you ask yourself every day, are you making the right decision? And the answer is this.
No.
Yeah, the answer is no to that question, sir. Phil.
Twofold, Tucker. One is we continue to make every call based on the facts, the data, the science.
He literally asked you 4 times what scientific facts you had for making those calls, and you never gave an answer.
Well, Tucker, what we need to do is just basically come together as a team and execute the plays 100%.
That's exactly what it is.
And, really, we're lucky and blessed to have the best coaches and the staff and the medical doctors in the world. So we just need to work together 100%, execute every play. Okay, but under what authority are you legally allowed to revoke people's rights, though? Well, as long as the team come together 100%, you know what I'm saying, just execute every play. You just work with the coaching and the conditioning staff. Just a circle. It's the same. It's literally, this is like a sports center. This would be like shoving a mic in the face of any football linebacker and going, what do you think of the constitutional ramifications here of locking people in their homes and taking their jobs away? Coach say just, come together every play. Every play, just work with our quarterback, work with our conditioning staff, our coaching staff, the best in the world. Just execute every play. Thank you. Governor Phil Murphy, everybody.
As best we can. And secondly, I look at what we're doing versus the alternative. And I know that the
What's the
alternative, had we stepped back and let this virus run amok, 3+ million people in our state would have been infected, and the healthcare system.
No, but you don't know that.
Royce, if they hadn't if we didn't flatten this curve, 25 million doctors in Florida alone would have been infected.
Oh my God.
Would have had no chance to have kept up with that, and the fatalities.
Tucker,
would have been
I don't think you would have to clean up this 5 million bodies all over New Jersey. I mean, Tucker, what are you going to do when the families of 6 million people start coming after you and suing you because these 11 million people?
So each life lost is a precious life lost. Let there be no doubt about it.
Is it
but
though?
The alternative
because we're not freaking out about obesity, right? And the opioid epidemic and drunk driving and come on, stop. If you were really worried about the public health, you wouldn't have liquor stores open. Let's shut down the liquor. Alcoholism's a horrible problem, Royce. Between drinking and driving, people running over people, dying of liver disease, dying of heart disease. Royce, we need to shut They have a giant loophole right now. People could die of the liquor they're drinking. We need to make liquor illegal.
You know what else kills a lot of people? Newark.
Yes,
and you allow that to exist.